Ah! Ah! What's going on, brothers? Brothers, what's going on, man? IP here, International Passports, here again for a future classic live stream. First and foremost, though, type of one in the live stream chat if you can hear me loud and clear. Josh, how's my audio, brother? Is it good?
It's perfect.
All right, awesome. Brothers. If you're here with me, type of one, man. I know it's morning in America, it's evening over here in the UK, but y'all should be awake. Y'all should be in the gym, right? Y'all should be eating healthy, right? Y'all should be getting up early and getting your goals achieved. So if you ain't here, yo, what's going on, bro? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Willow Gamer from Kick, the outlet in the building. Let's go. Who else is here, man? Type of one in the chat. Is a whole gang here? Is a whole gang here for the brothers? Gang, where you at, gang? Where you at, bro? Come on, man. Y'all still sleeping, man? Come on, man. Who's here, bruv? That's good, man. So the chat's getting live. Awesome. So let's get straight into it, all right? Special announcements first. Python course on the way, coming in a couple of weeks' time. I'm currently setting up the curriculum. Again, if you want to be in that course and also do Field's course as well at the same time, make sure you put your email down, your IG username down in the link pinned in the live stream chat to register your interest for that course. Looking forward to teaching you, brothers. And IT is freedom. I was remote working in Tenerife, Spain, having a great time on the beach, looking at women walk past, and of course, more intel on Tenerife, Spain coming as well. More clips, more videos, more streams. It's going to be a movie, okay? Now, aside from that, brothers, okay, hit the like button. Throughout tonight, if you can support, hit the super chat, that'd be greatly appreciated. Show IP some love, all right, for all the hard work he's done for you, brothers, man. So let's get straight into it, right? We got a very special stream here, right, coming today, this Sunday. I got a very special guest here called Mr. Josh. Josh, how you doing today, brother? You good?
I'm doing splendid, sir.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. So, Josh, give us a good detail as to who you are, where you're from, and anything special about you, bro.
Yeah, sure. I'm 28 years old. Obviously light skin. I have my picture up here as so y'all can get a good visual on how I look like. Born and raised in San Diego, California. I left Southern California around 2019. Moved to Central Florida for defense contract work. Then I got sent to Arkansas due to Ukraine war demand. So I do a lot of important work. I'm involved with programming, engineering, and machining, to be specific. So uh, the decent job that I was able to obtain allows me to travel and discover the world.
Amazing intro, brother. You said you're from San Diego. Side note, is it true what they say is that the women in San Diego really love black men, even the Asian women as well, brother?
Yes. Yes. I can go into depth with that as well in the stream if we have
Oh,
enough time.
this is amazing. All right, awesome. So, okay, I'll make a note of that, bro. So, shout out to Josh for his taking his time out here to break down what he does and how he's traveling and all that stuff. Okay, and I will definitely get Josh in future streams as well because seems like a great brother who can give great intel on travels. So, Josh, you were recently in Copenhagen and Munich. Can I ask what made you actually before I even ask that, brother, right? Are you new to the channel, Josh?
Would you consider like 3 months new?
Yeah, definitely, brother. How did you come across my channel, bro?
So, I was at work and I kind of have the luxury to scroll around the internet at work because I'm treated very well because they need me. So I get away with a lot of stuff, unfortunately. But I was looking up places to travel because I really wanted to travel again since all the vaccine passports ended or COVID restrictions because I was protesting it for a while because I used to travel, but I stopped because I was one of the people that protested against uh, the medicine, we call it. But I wanted to go to Europe. I've never been to Europe, and then on my algorithm, it showed up, YouTube algorithm, it showed up like Danish pastries. So I started investigating Copenhagen, Denmark, and I just said, I'm undecisive. I'm just going to book a ticket and go, and then maybe see another country, which I decided Germany. Then when I went home, um, your channel popped up on my recommended. So I go on there, and then I think it's interesting because being from San Diego is a military city. So I know a lot of like older brothers, like older Gen X brothers, and older white dudes that are married to a lot of Korean women and Japanese women. Because they're in the Navy, they were stationed in Okinawa, and they just totally checked out of the domestic dating market in the U.S. Um, and a lot of the information that I have encountered on your channel, there's a lot of really, really sharp brothers. And to be honest, I kind of fit in that uh, circle, but it's kind of lonely because there's not a lot of brothers that I can have intellectual conversations with. But I do know they're around. They're just hard to come by.
Mm.
And because of that, I wanted to see for myself. And I think a lot of the information that you presented and offered to the world is very vital and important information.
Amazing. Thank you, brother. Thank you. So, bro, you went to Copenhagen and Munich, all right? And before I even ask you why you chose those two cities, right? I want to know more about your life in San Diego. Because I think being a passport bro, there's an issue with dating Western women. A lot of black men feel like a lot of women across all races don't like black men anymore. We've lost our spark. But I want to know the dating scene in San Diego, California, before we even touch upon Copenhagen and Munich, right? So, wait, from your eyes only, from what you see other black men go through, how is dating like in San Diego? Are black men struggling there? Are black men doing well there? If they're doing well, what groups of women like black men the most in San Diego? I want the whole sort of dating experience in San Diego first, brother. Break it out because.
Sure. Well, the dynamics of San Diego, in terms of like the people are actually from there, is similar to Atlanta, where most of the people that are residents in the city, they're not originally from there. They're not born and raised there. So they have a term for people born and raised in San Diego. They call them unicorns, because a lot of the people that move to San Diego, they never encounter people that actually like uh, was born there. But there's a lot of tourism. A lot of people from Spain, Mexico City, other Latin countries or Spanish speaking countries go to San Diego. A lot of Brazilians too, because San Diego is the mecca for Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. So a lot of Brazilian women there. And then you have a big Korean community because UC San Diego has a very good pharmaceutical program, and they attract a lot of international students. So you have a lot of Korean women, Japanese women, um, women from a lot of Eastern Asian countries, especially Chinese nationals. So you have that melting pot along with the local Mexican population. So you have all these different cultures speaking different languages. There's like you could find a lot when it comes to the dating market. However, it is the United States. Girls are they care about clout. It's a lot of work. You got to be like a 10 out of 10, make like six-figure income, have your own place, all that. But it's difficult to do in San Diego. Um, but there's not a lot of brothers, and a lot of brothers there. They're kind of segregated into the southeast side and the east side of San Diego, which is kind of considered the ghetto. Um, it's this black population there is very small. It's about like 5 to 7%, and but a lot of talented athletes come from San Diego. But you don't the successful brothers though that didn't go into sports, they're usually like retired military, um, or they went into defense contracting because a lot of drone research is done in San Diego, like years before.
Okay. So, brother, now as an average black man, right? Um, let's say between 18 to let's say 35, right? What's dating like for them in San Diego across all races of women? Are they getting checked for? Are they getting loved? Is it hard out there? Are the Asian women checking Latinas, black women, mixed race women? What's dating like in your experience, you personally, and your black friends, like brother?
Yeah, so for me, I never had trouble dating in the U.S. because I've always gotten attention from women from like an early age, like when I since I was 13. But most of the brothers, including me, we tend to date Latina women because there's a lot of Mexican women that are looking for brothers. I'll tell you that. But there is a secret cheat code when it comes to a lot of the Mexican girls there. Uh, they a lot of them fantasize Dominican guys, like dark guys that can speak Spanish, because they don't encounter it at all. Because a lot of us we're familiar with Spanish, but we aren't fluent. But uh, a little bit has to do with the baseball team there too, because you have people like Fernando Tatis and then the others that are Afro Latino, so that kind of boosts their reputation a bit. So if you're a brother that's fluent in Spanish and you're from like New York City, because I know there's a lot of Dominicans over there, or you're from Dominican Republic or Venezuela or Colombia, you're gonna kill it in San Diego. That's for sure.
Oh wow. But now, what if you're a dark skinned brother? Does that matter? Is colorism a problem there? You know, or do dark skinned brothers eat as well in San Diego?
So in terms of the colorism lens, the light skins have kind of like the perception to be the players over there. So some girls will just totally avoid it because they're looking for more of a long term option. But then there's also a lot of women there that are looking specifically for brother, like dark skinned brothers. Like they want the dark skin, like badly.
Wow. But what about the Asians there? You mentioned Korean, Japanese, Chinese. Are they checking for brothers in San Diego?
Um, so me, I've always kind of stayed away from the Chinese and the Korean girls because they kind of stick to themselves a bit and they're hard to um, tap into as in like to socially connect. But the Japanese women tend to be the more um, susceptible to social interactions with different cultures. That's just from my observation. I do know some older generation Korean women with uh, brothers, but I kind of stay away from the mainland Chinese girls and the Korean girls because they tend to white worship a lot. Unfortunately.
Yeah. But the same in the UK too, bro. Same in the UK. The white worship is off the same. It's off the flipping roof, man. With these Chinese and Koreans and these Asians, brother. Okay. So Japanese. There's a chance in San Diego. What about the white woman, brother?
Yeah, so for the white women, they tend to go for the preppy hipster um, white kid or the surfer dude, or they tend to stick with brothers. So it's either or. It just depends on like what the white girl was around. And the white girls, I mean, they're usually Irish or Italian descent.
Awesome. Remember, what about the black girls, brother? Black woman.
Um, some of them are like very, very, very attractive, and they could pull multiple races, but they tend to struggle in the dating market in San Diego because most of the guys from other ethnicities they won't date black girls because the a lot of the black girls in San Diego they tend to be a little like ghetto.
Wow. So, what about brother mixed race women, brother? Half black, half white, half Asian, half white. Are they? I know this. I know it's out there in San Diego. Do they date black men?
Yeah, they're highly sought after. The light skinned girls. They're like a rare commodity. So a lot of the white guys and black guys go for them.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, before we move on, brother, right? Is there anything else we should know about San Diego in terms of dating, good, the bad, the ugly? Are there any other groups of women that also love black men? I heard there's Iranian women out there in California. Do they like black men? Anything else we need to know, brother, about San Diego?
Um, it's San Diego's a melting pot, so you'll be exposed to a lot of foreign women that are traveling over there. So it the dating market there is a lot better compared to other cities and other areas, especially the cities within the southern states. But if you're a brother and you're fluent in Spanish, you're gonna kill it, especially if you're specifically dark skinned. And and recently, with the success of the Padres, is elevated a lot more because they see people like Fernando Tatis, who's on like the cover of the MLB the show and all that, and he's a superstar. And you have other Afro Latinos, excuse me. Um, you're gonna kill it. But even if you don't speak Spanish, you'll still kill it. But expect the typical games with American women.
Hmm. But you said dark skin, so you're saying like you can be Akon complexion dark skin, but if you speak Spanish, you're gonna get love from Latinas, hot Latinas, down Latinas.
Yeah,
What?
like 10 out of 10s. Like you'll pull because you'll be a rare commodity because there's not many brothers in San Diego alone. Es- Especially LA too. There's not many brothers in LA either.
Wow, brother, great intel, brother, great intel. So, brother, now can I ask you, brother, right? What made you? So it's like you're having a great time in San Diego, right? But why did you decide to go to? But what made you actually say, "F it, I want to travel and get my passport"? Because your day in life is pretty cool in San Diego, but what's missing there for you, there, brother?
Well, um, I first traveled out the country when I was uh, 13 years old, and it's because I credit it due to some of it as like an innate thing or a genetic thing because my mom, she was a scuba diver, and then my dad was in the Navy, so they both are like travelers. My dad traveled because he needed to get out of East Cleveland because that's where he's originally from, and he's a Gen X guy. You know, he was a kid when the crack epidemic happened in a lot of cities, so the Navy was kind of like his his means of escape. And since he joined the Navy, he traveled a lot. My mom, she's from Tokyo, and she's always been interested with Black culture because she used to be involved with basketball, and then she was a huge reggae fan. Like she has like multiple bookshelves filled with all the albums of all the Marleys, like Julian Marley, Bob Marley, Damian Marley. So she was my mom was always been checking for brothers.
Oh, shit, brother, you're half Japanese.
Yeah.
Ah, let's go. Ha, what?
Yeah. Yeah, so I have two passports, and the first time I flew out of the country was to meet my mom's mom because she was dying. So I went over. So she wanted me to meet everybody on that side of the family. So it was a definite culture shock, and uh, I've always been interested in traveling, but it wasn't for dating. But recently, like when I went to Europe, now it's like I'm officially done with American women. Like I'm only dating foreign chicks. Sorry, American women. Like y'all can't compete with these foreign chicks.
Wow, brothers, W in the chat. Everyone type of W in the chat for a half Japanese, half black brother. Had no idea. W in the chat. W in the chat. Um, wow. Okay, and brothers, I'm guessing. So I'm guessing you've been in Japan. You've seen the woman there in Japan. I know this is a European stream, right? But quick intel from what you saw out there in Japan, the vibe you got. Do you think Japanese women like black men, love black men?
Yeah, I think so, but you got to play it in a certain way because there's a lot of it's similar to Danish culture where there's a lot of unwritten rules, specifically unwritten cultural rules where, and since the Japanese are very strict, um they'll give you a pass if you're a foreigner, but they expect you to do your best. That's their motto. You know, you do your best without compensation, without something, uh, expecting something in return. So, but usually, from what I've observed, with excluding the whole Okinawan dating market, usually, from what I've seen, is like a white guy or a brother is involved with a specific hobby that the Japanese woman is into. That's from what I've seen.
Wow. Let's go. W's in the chat. W's in the chat. Everyone type a W in the chat. It's gonna be a classic live stream. Go half black, half Japanese, brother. Um, you know what, brother? And you know what? This might sound crazy, Josh, but I want to see a lot more, you know, Blasians out there, brother. You know, I want to see, brother. Hopefully, we get 1 million black men to Japan by 2030, and you know they're gonna have some fun with Japanese women and pop out some kids. You know, hopefully.
Yeah, it's bad to have a very homogenous population because that's when you get a lot of backwardness and uh, ethnic cultures. And but if anybody reads Charles Darwin, Origin of Species, and you study genetics, you know that like hybridization is genetically like beneficial. So don't let I've been seeing it a lot in Twitter where race has been, and Instagram especially, where race has been kind of elevating. And but don't let these folks tell you like, or don't let these folks hate on you for trying to date around other cultures because the Europeans been doing it for hundreds and hundreds of years. Brothers in Africa have been um, mating with different tribes for hundreds and hundreds of years. So it's genetically beneficial to do it. So don't let these racial folks demoralize you or turn or bring you down because you're dating outside of your color. Which, to me, in my opinion, I think is stupid.
Facts, bro. Facts. So, Josh, right now, okay, um, Copenhagen and Munich, right? What made you, out of all countries in the world, right, pick Copenhagen and Munich? What drew you down in the first place before going to the whole weed of things?
Yeah. So behavioral wise, like how I am personally, like I'm always against the crowd. Like I've always been a rebellious person, you know. Um, I'm an autodidact by nature, so I've always questioned the education system or any kind of narrative that's been proposed. I'm always constantly investigating. So uh, the good thing with San Diego is you get exposure to different cultures, and people from different environment and cultures have different ideas, and a lot of the times it makes a lot of sense. But I know that not a lot of Americans go to Denmark, and a lot of Americans go to Germany, but my mom's into German culture as well, and it's kind of influenced me because I have an appreciation for German engineering because of my line of work. So I chose Munich because of that, because I wanted to investigate like how are these people very talented in engineering, and then I wanted to go to Denmark because I wanted to see if if it's really the happiest country in the world, and I want to see how the Scandinavian culture is like. And the women in both countries is a plus too. That influence as well.
So, brother, is Copenhagen really is Denmark really the happiest country in the world, from what your experience was?
um, so I was fortunate to have an experience in Copenhagen where the majority of tourists don't get, because I was able to tap into multiple social circles of the local people, like the ethnic Scandinavians that been in Denmark for hundreds and hundreds of years, and getting to know them. I personally don't think they're happy, because a lot of them have really bad vices. Like, they have different methods of coping with some kind of depression or something like that, but they have a good quality of life. They have a safety net. So, you could break an arm and you'll be treated well. And the food is not processed. Uh, there's no like bad chemicals within the food products and drinks. So you can grow up healthy and have a moderate, decent life. But whatever status you're born at, you're gonna stay there. There's not much upward or downward mobility.
Interesting, brother. So now we are going to get into the whole life about Copenhagen and Denmark. Um, so, but I definitely want to get things started with dating. Okay. Um, I'm going to ask you a very important question, Mr. Josh. Okay. And this question, Josh, is probably the most important question in the history of mankind. Okay. It's a question so important, so powerful, it can solve and cure world wars. But it's a question that's so pure and potent, it can turn water into wine and vice versa. But it's a question that's so powerful, it can cause volcano eruptions, earthquakes, and seismic shocks. It's a question so well known that even aliens in outer space and Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto, even they know of this question, brother. The question is, Mr. Josh, are the women in Copenhagen, Denmark, checking super duper ultra heavy for black men and passport bros?
Oh my goodness. uh, Not only they are checking for brothers, but if you're any other average brother, they're gonna think of you as a local celebrity. I'll put it as that. It, they are checking super duper uber hard for brothers.
What? Break it down. What do you mean? What? What?
So, to keep in mind, I'm a light skinned brother. So, but I've seen other dark skinned brothers that were doing well over there. But just to keep in mind, I'm a light skinned brother. So, just to put it in context, from California. So, I'm a West Coast dude, but I live in the South. Um, so I flew out August 11th, right? Um, so I went from Little Rock Airport to Atlanta International Airport, because I was flying through Delta. Um, then once I was on the international side of the airport, it was very interesting, because I was getting approached like multiple times, and now it had to do with my football jersey, because I'm a Browns fan, so I had to rep that Shador Sanders jersey. So multiple people, like, like, oh yeah, I love him, all that. We were talking about the game, because that preseason game where he played happened. Then I encounter a very clean cut brother, very clean cut. He's in the army. He was heading towards Poland, Poznan to be specific. But this flight was heading towards the Schiphol airport in Amsterdam. And he came up to me. We were talking, and he was like so happy he saw me. And he asked me if I was in the military. I was like, no, This is just my vacation. And he was like, "Oh, like, oh crap." He was like, "Are you going over there to see a girl or something?" And in my head, I'm like, "That's interesting." He asked me that, and I was like, "No, I'm just discovering the culture. You know, it's my vacation. I have a good job, work in defense contracting. Like, I'm gonna take advantage." He was like, "Man, you're gonna have a blast." Then he mentioned stuff about Poland, where like he kind of suggested to check out Poland too. But you know, get on the plane, land in Amsterdam. I'm completely lost. Huge airport. Um, and then I get to my connecting flight to from Amsterdam to Copenhagen. Once I land in Copenhagen, you know, I'm just completely shocked because I'm like, I'm really in Copenhagen. I'm really in Denmark now. Like I couldn't imagine. I worked very hard. I had to go through a lot in the U.S., especially my line of work. Like I'm finally here. Then I get approached by an African brother, and he helps me out find the luggage. And this guy, he very sharp. Shout out to the African brother. I don't know what country he's from, but he was fluent in Danish, so he was able to help me out. So I get my luggage. Then I get approached by a Danish officer, but he came up to me specifically because of my football jersey, and we were just talking about football for 30 minutes. And he was like so happy to see me because they don't see many American brothers at all. So when they see you and they realize you're American, it's like, wow, like I see people like you and your culture on like music videos and TikTok and YouTube, but like they never get to meet us because we don't go to Denmark. We as in like Black American brothers or other types of brothers. So I ride the train. I recommend riding the tram for everybody or the train. Very efficient, easy, and cheap. So I go on the train, and then this Swedish guy comes up to me, and he asked me if I was Swedish. I was like no. And then when he heard my accent, he was like, "Oh crap, you're American." And he took a picture of me to send to his relatives because I guess he's got relatives in Ohio to be specific. Because I had a Browns jersey on. I didn't see it. I didn't see him take a picture of me, but he told me he did, and I didn't mind it. I was tired, jet lagged, and I was like, it wasn't malicious. So I get off the tram, I go in the hotel, and then this cute Danish girl, short girl, starts talking to me. And she's checking me in. She's like shocked she saw me because I got a nice hotel in the city center, 4-star hotel, expensive hotel. I didn't want to do a hostel because I'm introverted. I value privacy or personal time. But I started conversating with this girl, and I could tell, like, with the look of her eyes, the pupils dilated. It's like she was like googly eyed seeing me. Like she was asking me like multiple questions: where I was from, like why did I come to Copenhagen, and she helped me out. She showed me a lot of spots, but this I'll talk about this chick later on because it each day I encounter her, it's like interesting conversations. But I go up to my hotel, shower up, head out, and I'm hungry. So I say, you know, I'm gonna find a random bakery. So I go to this. I got my Stetson hat on, got my bootcut light wash jeans with an Arkansas shirt on, University of Arkansas shirt. So I walk in this bakery called Buka Bakery. I highly recommend it. Go in, order some pastries and coffee. I come out. I sit on the outside venue where they got multiple tables where multiple tourists are at. Then I sit down and I realize like I'm being stared at very hard. And I look to my right and it was these two chicks from Austria just like staring at me. Like they were like their mouths were like salivating. And they asked me about the my shoes I was wearing just to start up a conversation. They pretty much cold approached. And I start talking to them, and that's when they realized I was American. So we're talking, and then another chick butts in the conversation. Now, this chick that butted in the conversation apparently was following me into the bakery, came outside where I was outside, but sat at another table just to find an opportunity to try to talk to me.
What? Stalking you, bro? What?
Yes.
Bro, what?
Yes. Then the Austrian girls, they invited her over, so she comes up and sits on this across from me, the same table as me. Apparently she's a flight attendant, but she's American from Manhattan. And when I heard that, I was like already kind of checked out because I know how girls from that area are. But but I didn't realize the tension because over throughout the I'll describe it more, but I realized like what a lot of American girls do, which is very like sneaky. But she butted in a conversation, we're all talking. Apparently she's a heavy like a hardcore Catholic. Then the Austrian girls had to leave. I didn't get their contact info, but she asked them for their Instagram, and I thought it was kind of weird. So I'm like, oh, she must kind of play that way, if you know what I mean. So the Austrian girls were kind of like weirded out, and they're like, oh yeah, sure. So they leave, and then the girl looks at me and she says, well, uh, what's your info? And I was like, oh, I thought you were like, you play that way. She was like, oh no, I was just trying to get you to ask me to for my info. I was like, what? And she was like, yeah. And she was like, and I was also wondering if you wanted to go on a boat ride with me. And I was like, oh, okay. You talking about like the one of those like typical tourist boat rides on the canal? And she was like, yeah, yeah, I'll pay for us and all that. So that's what so she took me
Sorry,
on the
brother.
boat ride.
That was the American girl.
Yes, an American
What the?
girl.
What is going on? Like, brother, like that's the least thing you want happening to you, brother. Like when you go abroad, like, and brother, she actually paid for your boat ride as well. Damn, she's
Yes.
thirsty, bro. What?
It she only it this is the thing with American girls, if they see you getting attention from the foreign girls, they're gonna try to compete to try to take you out of that dating market. And I
Mm,
didn't realize that till later because I was getting approached by not only Danish girls, but Norwegian girls and then American girls. But the American girls were approaching me because they saw I was uh, being checked out hard. So they were probably the most aggressive. But she took me on the boat ride. We got some drinks at a bar. And I could tell she's like very nervous because uh, she had some specific intentions. Then she invited me over to her hotel. I'm a just end it there with that girl.
what the flip?
On the
That's
day
crazy.
on the day I landed.
What the? But this is a white American girl.
Yes.
Flipping heck, bruv. What is what flight attendant?
Yeah.
I told you about was about flight attendant. I told you about flight attendants. Me and people told y'all don't date or marry these flight attendants. They're one of the biggest 304s out there, bruv. I told you, brothers, don't wife them up, man. You see, god damn. So, brother, so I'm guessing you cut her off after you did the deal about, okay, I'm not here for American girls, I'm here for Danish girls, and you're like, we can't be here for the whole trip together.
Well, so I was uh we were talking after uh we did some activities and she was trying to like keep me at her hotel, and I was trying to leave, and I was like getting ready in her room and all that, and she was like, "So you're already leaving?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course. I'm on vacation. I came here to see Copenhagen. I'm not here to be stuck in your hotel." So she was like, "Here, are you gonna even ask for my number?" And I'm like, "Well, do you want it?" And she's like, "Okay." So I get her number down, but you know, I get her number down and then I leave because I wanna go back to my hotel, get some rest, and explore Copenhagen. Now, this is gonna be a very, very important part uh, of this segment because what I'm about to describe the next day when I go out is how Danish girls um, flirt or how do I say it? Approach the dating scene or how social interactions happen.
Fire
So
away.
next, sorry.
No, brother, fire away, brother. Fire away.
Oh, okay. So now the next day, the 13th of August, I'm exploring around the city. Yeah, I get approached by multiple people, like family, like different families and different people from different backgrounds, and these are like Danish people. But here's the crazy part: most of the people that approached me on my itinerary in Denmark, they thought I was Danish. So they would come up to me speaking in Danish, and then when I start speaking in English, say, "Oh, sorry, like I only speak English." They hear my accent, and then they're like, "Oh, American," and then they like totally lighten up. But they would tell me like, "Oh, like I thought you were like Danish," and I was confused because I'm like, obviously I don't look Scandinavian, like, but to them they don't judge people on color. They judge people on nationality and character, like how you carry yourself. So, but it also helps that there's a lot of younger, light skinned Danes. Like they're like half Danish and half African. Those man, those people, they're the guys and the girls. No, no Diddy. They're very, very like they look like supermodels. Um, so that
Damn. So
happens.
hold that thought there, brother. Right? You know, I'm gonna ask you later on if the mixed race uh Danish women love black men. So hold that thought there. But carry on, brother.
Okay, okay. Um, so that happens throughout the day. So I go back to my hotel again, get ready because I'm like I'm gonna go out and check out some bars. And the cool thing about Copenhagen, you can party any day of the week in the summertime. Monday to Sunday, there's always some spots that are popping, filled with people. So I go in this pub called Proud Mary. Now it's um the perception of it is kind of like a touristy bar where a lot of tourists in Copenhagen they go in there. So when I went in there, there were a lot of people. There were a lot of Brits in there, and a couple other foreigners from other countries, but I couldn't pinpoint where. But there were a lot of Brits in there because I can hear the accent. So I go in there, I get my beer, specifically 1664 Blanc. I highly recommend it if you're a fan of Blue Moon Belgian wheat ales. I highly recommend it. Um, so I get my beer. Then I'm looking for a table to sit. Then I see these three girls sitting on the table. And then so I come up, I walk up, and I ask them, "Hey, are any of these spots taken?" And they're like, "Oh no, go ahead." So I sit down, I drink my beer, I check out the vibe, and it's a fun vibe. People are having a great time, they're partying. And then 5 minutes later, one of the girls, she has dark hair, kind of short, and then she was with a dirty blonde, and then another blonde, and these were like Scandinavians, like they were Danish. The dark hair girl, she was pretty cute. She comes up to me and said, "Oh, you should come sit by us." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So we start talking, and they realized I was American. And now this is where like the interesting part happens. The dirty blonde and the dark hair girl were, uh, how would I describe it? A lot of these Danish girls, they like to flirt around with a lot of different guys, but it doesn't necessarily mean they like the dudes. They kind of do it as like a jealousy test towards the guy they really want. So what I mean by that is they'll go up to a guy, start talking to him. You know, they might hold hands, might kiss a little, kind of similar to Brazilian culture. Um, but these girls, they were like competing for like guy attention, and I'm sitting there like, this is very interesting. So the dark hair girl is like, she starts looking at me. She goes over the bar counter. She brings over shots. She buys me shots. I start drinking the shots. I'm like, okay. Then 30 minutes later, buys more shots, brings me more shots. All right. Then starts trying to talk to other dudes that in front of me, and it was like kind of odd. I'm like, I don't have any interest. She's attractive, but I'm just playing it cool, you know. Then all of a sudden, she comes up to me, aggressively grabs my hand, and starts and kind of like just like pulls me with her, walking around like I'm her like boyfriend or something like that. And I'm like, what the flip? And keep in mind, like this chick, like she wasn't buying drinks for anybody else. She was just buying me and then her friends drinks. And I'm just a random dude. So these dudes in the bar are coming up to me and they're like, "Are you like? Do y'all have like a thing or something?" And I'm like, "No, I just barely met these girls." And they were like shocked. They're like, and then they realized I was American. They're like, "Okay, that makes a lot of sense." So we were having a lot of fun. You know, we're drinking and all that. It's getting a little crazy. So we decided to leave. They wanted to go eat, and the same girl that's buying me shots starts buys me food. So I'm already getting free drinks, free attention, and now I'm getting free food for the night. Shoot, I'm like, wow, this is totally different than the U.S. Completely shocked me. Um, and this is the chick that like I have on standby where it's like if I go back, we're hanging out because she starts towards the end of the night. She starts confessing to me, and she goes, "Uh, uh, we should hang out again, and I'll show you the whole city, and I'll really show you around, and I'll treat you well." Like it's like she was like simping, but she was also kind of how to say it, kind of like down on herself towards the end of the night. Like you can tell it was like a vibe shift, but towards the end of the night, she was literally simping to me, and I'm like, dude, your average American chick, they're way too entitled to do that. It's usually just the guys that simp. If you get my drift.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm like, shoot, I gotta go home. So I get all their contact info, especially the dirty blonde girl. She was real cute. Go back to the hotel, freshen up next day. Same ordeal. Get approached multiple times throughout the day. Get the local celebrity treatment.
Sorry, brother. Before you speak any further, right? I'm guessing you smashed that chick in the hotel.
The American chick or the girl I met from the pub.
The girl you met in the pub.
Oh no, 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 no.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we went our separate ways.
Okay. Carry on, brother. Carry on.
I only got lucky with the tourist chicks, like the chicks that were uh, there for vacation. But the Danish girls, they're more like the ones that I got approached by and encountered. They were looking for long term
Mm.
relationships. But I don't know if they're wifey material because I see the way they flirt around with different guys and they seem promiscuous, but they also kind of play hard to get, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Um,
Carry on, bro, with your experiences. See, the next day, what happened? You know.
yeah. So now the next day, uh, local celebrity treatment or the local Dane treatment. Multiple people approach me. Um, I encounter multiple people, eat great food, see some historical sites. Now I decided to go out to the club, and this is August 14th. Yeah, August 14th. I have it written down. So I'm wandering around the city, and I'm like, I wonder what's popping. So I came across this club called the Hive Club, and I'm like, okay, there's a line here, and I'm gonna check it out. So there was a bunch of dudes on the line, and then there was a lot of chicks too that were just getting expedited in. Of course, if you're an attractive girl, you're gonna get in. So I waited in line, and then I was like, wondering what's gonna happen because a lot of the dudes in front of me, they were just getting rejected. The bouncers were turning them away. So now I go. It's my turn to go at the bouncer. I take out my passport. He sees the American passport and says, "Yeah, yeah, come on in." And the dudes were like pissed. Some of the dudes were pissed because they're like, "This guy, you didn't let us in, but this guy can come in." So now I'm like, in my head, I'm like, "Oh yeah, yeah." IP was right. American privilege is real, especially the Black American privilege. So I go in. It's packed in there. I go up to the counter, try to get some drinks. Then I get approached by this like younger Danish dude. And now Thursday nights in Copenhagen tends to be a younger crowd in these bars and clubs because Thursday they try to be inclusive for the younger demographics because Friday and Saturdays they're more strict on age. Just to keep that in mind when you go to Copenhagen and you decide to come out. Um, I'll say in the club, the age ranges were 19 to 25. But 18-year-olds can go in, so keep that in mind. So I get approached by this Danish dude, younger kid. I call him K because he's younger than me. And he starts speaking to me in Danish because he thought I was Danish. And then I start speaking English. He realizes I was American. He was like, "Oh my goodness." So he starts shoving me like vodka, like shoving me drinks because he bought a oh he bought a bottle of vodka. And then he was just like feeding me drinks. I'm like, oh my gosh. Then his buddy came up that was looking for him, and he was like, "Yeah, I was just hanging out with this dude." This guy uh turns towards me, realizes I was American, and he just starts spazzing. And he was like, "No way you're here." And this guy hung out with multiple times, like throughout my week itinerary, because he was like, I can't believe you're American, let alone like Black American in Copenhagen. So he's like, we started chatting it up. He's like, asking me all these questions, asking me like, oh, is it true that Americans don't know geography and all that? Because he was telling me like most of the people in Denmark, all they consume is American media. Like they try to dress like Americans, because a lot of them, the fashion there is baggy jeans, Carhartt jeans, True Religion jeans with oversized shirt and fitted caps, like fitted baseball caps. So that the kid is just spazzing out, and this it gets real interesting because him and his friend were leveraging me or using me as kind of like a way to get chicks at the club because they knew my value. And the guy that was spazzing out was telling some of the girls at the club that he was related to me. And this guy, he's like a redhead, ginger, Scandinavian, Danish guy, telling girls that he's related to me.
Wow.
And that night, I was approached by at least 10 different chicks. Specifically, like 10, like on the dot 10, like throughout the night. And mainly Norwegian girls. Um, but one Swedish girl, she comes up to me. I didn't know she was Swedish, but the Danish guys told me. She comes up to me, starts eyeing me. She's with her friend. She starts dancing by me right next to me because she was trying to, you know, do the explicit dance that I call. Then one of the Danish guys that I was with, that was feeding me vodka, comes up to me. He tells me this, and you know how brothers are. We like a little meat on our chicks, and she wasn't fat, but she was like kind of slim thick. This dude comes up to me and says, "Dude, you can get the don't go for her. She's fat. You have way better options." And in my mind, I'm like to me, I was like, is he trying to cockblock? But in my head, I can tell the vibe. It's like it was genuine advice. Like he was being genuine, and I'm like, oh, okay. And let it be known, he was right because a bunch of Norwegian girls were came about and approached me, and it was a group of 5 that was competing for my attention. And then one of them just uh, got so aggressive, grabs me, and starts uh, making out.
God.
And the Danish dudes, they see it, so they're trying to hover around the girls and they're trying to get like the piece of the pie. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I was like, hey, I told the dudes, like, I need a break. I'm gonna go upstairs because they have an outside venue where a lot of people smoke. I go outside and we're just chilling, me and the ginger guy. We were talking. Then I get approached again. And this girl, she was Danish, dirty blonde, cute girl. I still talk to her because she's in my standby roster. She comes up to me while I'm talking to the dude, and she says, "Hey, I just saw you from afar, and I thought you were really cute, and I wanted to get your Snapchat." And then the Danish guy was like completely shocked, and then he starts telling the girl that that we're related to try to get her friends or whoever her friend group was to come on over. But um, I was shocked because of the directness and the fact that I was talking to one dude and then multiple dudes, and then she came up asking for my info in front of all the dudes. It was interesting. I guess a lot of people in the club realized I was American, so it just attention exponentially grew. Where even the dudes were like dapping me up. It was a lot of love shown. Like it's not like American clubs where everyone is on defense mode and everyone's competing for the small group of attractive women. It's like there's competition for the girls, but the guys aren't going to fight over it because a lot of the Danish guys have that abundance mindset where, okay, she likes another guy. There's plenty of other girls that I can go for. It's not a big deal. And if they don't get lucky, then what a lot of them will do is they'll go to that certain district because it's the P4P is legal there. So that's their mindset. It's like getting whatever their needs are is guaranteed. So they have that abundance mindset. So it's not toxic. Like you could steal a chick from another guy, but the guy's not gonna be mad over it. He's just gonna be like, there's other girls that I can talk to is not much of a big deal.
Wow. Carry on, bro.
Yeah. So after the club, we start hitting up bars. There's the guys that were showing me the local bars, like spots that stay open like past the closing time. And when I went into those bars, I started getting approached by more chicks. It got a little too much. So it's like 6 in the morning now. I'm tired. I'm like, I'm gonna go home. Not home. Go back to my hotel. But it was just so much love, like from African brothers, because they were shocked that they encountered me. Chicks, other Danish dudes. It it was just crazy. It was just so many different types of people I've encountered. It's just a lot to describe. But each day I go out, it's a similar story. But I check out uh, different bars and clubs. Um, I meet up with the same guys the next day on the 15th, and then the same ordeal happens. We hang out in the meat packing district, but uh, and then we go to other areas of the city. That was a lot of fun. Same ordeal, get approached by multiple chicks. But the cool part is once they're in their social circle hanging out, a lot of the Danish guys they'll do the work for you, where they have a specific way of approaching the Danish girls where they're not too aggressive, but they kind of play it nonchalant and chill, where they might go up to a girl and kind of probe what their or gauge their interest. And then once that happens, then like those group of girls start hanging out with the group of guys, and it's all like a chill vibe. And then you can kind of see which chick is interested and who's competing for who. But once you're in that social circle, the social circle, then the attention's gonna exponentially grow because more chicks will be interested. And if you're a foreigner hanging out with Danish guys, then they're like, to them their their mindset or what they're thinking is, wow, this guy is from another country and he was able to tap into the local culture. There's must be something about the guy. As that's just a little pointer. Um, Throughout the night, I get uh, I get told by multiple people to go to this certain club does Afro nights, and I've never been to. I uh, I don't listen to much Afro music. I never even heard of it till someone told me about it there. But apparently it's big there, Afro music. So they tell me you got to go to this club called Chateau Motel, and they were gonna do uh, Afro night. So I'm like, you know what? I never heard of it, and apparently it's popular. I want to experience it for myself. And now I received a lot of mixed reviews from different people because the Danish guys that I hung out with, they were telling me, they don't like that club because the people there is the vibes is different. That they didn't really like the audience that go to the club, but there were other people that liked it, especially the African guys. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna check it out. So I check it out the next day on the 16th. Um, but before I go in the club, I got a pregame a little. I go in the 7-Eleven, get my 1664 Blanc,
Mhm.
step right out of the 7-Eleven. I get approached by this African girl just out of nowhere.
What?
Yeah. Just out of nowhere, as soon as I step out the 7-Eleven. Start speaking to me in English because I guess she knew I was American. And she was with a Thai girl, a
Woo!
Thai Danish girl, and then
Woo!
a Scandinavian Danish girl.
Thai Danish, but about half Thai, half Danish.
Uh, she was. I don't know if she was half Thai, half Danish because she looked very Thai, but she had a Danish first and last name.
God. Oh, carry on, bro. Carry on. Carry on.
But this African girl, she was, I guess she was from Ivory Coast, and they figured I was American, and they were like asking me where I was going, and I was like, well, I was planning to go to Afro night to this club, but I also got to hit this one bar because one of the bartenders that I got cold approached by, she wanted me to go check out the bar she was at before I go in the club. So I'm like, yeah, well, I'm gonna do that and that. And the Ivory Coast girl, she was so aggressive. She was like, "Oh yeah, we should really go together. We should really go together. We'll be there. We'll be there for sure." And then I had to get their Instagrams. So I'm like, "Oh man!" Like, and she wasn't too attractive. The Ivory Coast girl, they're like average, including the Thai girls. So I was getting attention, but it's not what I would go for. In terms of looks. So I'm all right. I'll meet up with y'all later. So I go to the bar. I go in there. It was your typical dive bar. I didn't like the atmosphere. I just immediately left. Text the girl say I'm gonna go to the club. She's like, all right, I'll meet up with you like 4 or 5 in the morning or something if you're still out. And I'm like, all right. So I head to the club. Same ordeal as when I went to the Hive Club. There's a line. They were rejecting some dudes. And then I had my passport out and ready while I was in line. And then one of the bouncers recognized I was holding an American passport, and he started speaking in Danish to the other bouncers. And that's when they decided, they were like, they point at me. He said, "You just come on in." So I'm like, "Oh crap, okay." Um, Special treatment again. So I go in, and I go in. It's like there's a lot of people, but it's a mixed crowd. There's a lot of like Eritrean girls, Ethiopian girls, Nigerian girls. It was a whole mix of different types of Africans. Some Danish girls. It was a very mixed crowd. I go up to the counter because I'm gonna get some drinks. And I order. I say what I want, and then there was another brother that was standing by me, and he looked like Somalian, but he had a London accent. And he turned around, he's like, "You from in his accent, he's like, "You from America?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Oh, I'm from London." And I was like, "Wow, you're the first UK brother I met." And he was very happy I said that. He kind of like like his normal stern face went into like a very motivated, happy face. So he was like, "Wow." But in the middle of that conversation, I get approached by two white chicks. They come up behind me and they say, "Hey." I turn around and I was like, "Whoa." And they were pretty attractive too, but they were American. And they were like trying to, they basically approached me because they saw the attention I was getting as soon as I got in the club. And then I was like, "Where are y'all from?" And they're like, "Oh, we're from Jersey." And then and in my head, I'm like, in these type of girls in America, they would have never approached me because it would have been the other way around. Let alone, they probably would have never gave me a single ounce of attention. But the sole fact that I was getting attention as soon as I got into the club, and then you just happened to, you wanted to approach me because you were trying to compete with the other girls, not because of genuine interest or desire. In my head, I'm like, yeah, I'm not messing with the American chicks because I have these Danish girls and other Scandinavian girls that are like, they're willing to buy me food, buy me drinks, and and hang out, and they're very receptive. Like, you don't have to play games with them. It's straightforward, direct. There's no confusion, no gray area whatsoever. So I told the girl, I told him, I'm like, you approach me, but y'all don't even know how to pump your own gas, because in Jersey they don't pump their gas. They got the busters to do it for them. So I was like, y'all don't even know how to pump your own gas. And then I was like, I'm sorry, but uh, I got my own objectives. So I pretty much turned them down. And the look on their faces, they were just shocked, because like they were good looking, but the sole fact that they're American, I just I said no. Because in my mindset, I'm like, I'm only Danish girls. I'm only foreign girls. So I walk away from them. Then I get approached by the same girls that approached me outside the 7-Eleven, the Ivory Coast girl and the Thai Danish girl. And then those two start competing for me. Like, they were super aggressive. And it got to the point where I had to run away and hide out in a certain part of the club just to avoid them, because the attention was too much. It was just, they're way too aggressive, too thirsty. So the rest of the night, I just hang out with some of the African brothers, but the treatment was different versus the other bars and clubs, because a lot of the people there didn't think I was American, so they just kind of assumed I was probably Danish or just African Danish. Yeah, and so a lot of them kind of left me alone. But some of the ones that knew I was American, like I was just hanging out with for the rest of the night, because they're like, oh my gosh, he's like, I'm actually, because in their minds they're like, I'm actually hanging out with an American dude, and they were like really cool, um, smart fellas. A lot of the African dudes there. Uh, I feel like I've rambled on a lot. Am I rambling too much?
It's amazing, brother. You carry on, bro. Break it down for us.
All right. Um, so I decided to leave the club. The Ivory Coast girl, she kind of gave up, and um, she started dancing with like a Filipino guy. So I'm like happy, because I'm like, oh, thank God, like I can actually chill. I don't have to be worried. But then the Thai girl, she just immediately swoops on in. And this girl, she's all like dancing on me, grinding. And then with her bare hands, tries to dig in my pants on the front side, try to feel a little something.
What?
Yes. In the club. And then when we left the club, because they wanted to go home and I wanted to go back to the hotel, she was even trying to do it while we were walking outside. And I'm like, oh my! And I had to immediately grab her wrist, and I'm like, dude, stop! Like, holy heck! So then we walked to the central station. My hotel's by there, so it's convenient. And then she's all like being lovey dovey. She's like she's like hugging me, and she says, why don't you kiss me? And I go, well, one, I'm not going to pursue you because I'm the prize. I'm the prize. I'm the person that you got to compete for. So I'm not
Mm.
going to come to you. You got to work for me. I'm the commodity here. And she got humbled real quick, and she was like, "Wow," and she was a little disappointed. But I was like, "I'll keep in touch, but uh, just to let you know, like I got options, like, and you're not like the most attractive looking girl, so you're just average. It's not a big deal. I'm not gonna chase after you. I know better. I know my worth because being in Copenhagen and how I'm being the public reception of the people there, I'm like, yeah, I know my worth now. I know my true worth. So I ain't chasing after you. So so, so I go back to the hotel, chill out. Now repeat. August 17th. I go back to the same pub that I went out when I met those three girls that bought me shots and food. Wanted to check it out again. Proud Mary pub. Go in there. The vibes was different, but this time this bar was filled with college age American people, and man, they were like the fraternities and sorority types. Me, I personally despise those types. I hate them with a passion.
Mm.
And they're just so belligerent. They have to be center of attention. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, man, these people are so obnoxious. Like I didn't realize how obnoxious us Americans can be like overseas at times. Like it was embarrassing, but it got a lot more toxic over time because some of the American girls there, they were talking to some of the other girls, including the Danish girls, and they were talking about me because some of the chick, it was the same ordeal. They're like, "Oh, that guy!" Like I can see them and I can hear their conversation. These two American girls look at me and look at them, and they weren't quiet about it. They're like, "Why go for that guy? That guy is ugly as heck." And basically, position themselves were they were standing in between me and the chicks that wanted to talk to me. So those two American girl sorority type girls were essentially cock blocking me the rest of the time in in that pub, and so that's when I just left and I said, yeah, this is not a good vibe. I was kind of heated because it made me realize how a lot of Americans can be, where there's a lot of hating that goes on,
Mm.
and the fact that like you're American, we're both Americans, and you treating me like crap, but the Danes are treating me like that I'm part of their own people. It says a lot.
Mm. But they were white Americans, right?
Yeah,
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. This is why this channel is very black centric. And and some brothers get angry about that. But you see how race is important. You know, you see
yeah.
how race is very, very important. And I'm always gonna big up black men, straight black men. I don't care what anyone says. I've lost a lot of money, right? I've lost a lot of followers on this channel because I've only focused on black men. I don't care, bruv. You see, because these kind of things just make me angry, man. Make me hot. Why would you even do that? The hatred that that they have for us, I can't allow them on this channel, man. F them. But carry on, bro.
I 100% agree with you, IP. And when I realized that, like it was depressing because now I think of all the interactions back in the US, especially workplace environments, social environments,
Mm,
because I have a lot of friends in the US that refuse to go out with me at night because I often get more luck with the girls, but it's that like low key hate that happens. But with the Danish guys, even if I get more attention, it's not a big deal. They're not going to hate. You know, they're going to be like, "Hey, good job, man. Like you're doing a good job." They're more supportive. There might be a little competitiveness, but they're not hating. But in the U.S., there's a lot of hating that goes on, and now I'm back in the U.S. I'm just thinking like I'm a lot more appreciative of the people that are very genuinely nice to me and that care about me. But a lot of the people, other people that realize they were low key haters or outgoing haters, I just kind of despise now. But yeah, I leave that pub and then I'm just walking around. Then I get approached by a random Danish dude. He thought I was Danish, same ordeal, and he realized I was American, and he was shocked. So we were hanging out. We were smoking a little bit, smoking cigarettes a little bit. I'm not a fan of cigarette smoking, but the cigarettes there they taste a lot different, and there's a lot less chemicals in their cigarettes. But people there, they're social smokers, so we were just chilling. And this guy is really interesting because he he's apparently a part of the he was a part of the Danish royal guard um that guards the king's palace and then and other properties of the Danish monarch royal family. And he was telling me about a lot of like the culture, the Danish culture, and then the architecture. Very intelligent artsy guy, but you can tell like he's got like bad vices, like he's not internally he's not happy, but very intelligent. And he was asking me about my background, and he was very impressed. And he asked me what my parents did. And you know what he told me after I told him what my parents did? He told me that in his country, in his society, that in their social hierarchy, he told me that I would be like higher up within their social hierarchy like system. Because to keep in mind, over there, it's not about the money, the all the money you have, because there they frown upon being arrogant and flaunting your wealth because it's considered a culturally taboo. Basically, the more well off you are, the more you got to downplay yourself. So, excuse me. So when he was telling me that, it it was kind of a shock to me because I'm like, you know, in the U.S., it's so there's so much dysfunction, a lot of racial hate between different groups and tribalism, and the fact that I feel that I'm always got to be on defense, and a lot of people secretly hate on you. But the fact that this guy, he doesn't even know me, asked about my background and then how my parents are and what they did, and the fact he said that, it it kind of uplifted me a bit because it kind of made me realize that you got to really know your own self-worth. You got to know your own self-worth where to the point where your self-confidence carries you through dysfunction.
Hmm.
Um but he was an interesting dude. He was kind of like a mini tour guide for the night, but uh apparently that the Danish royal guard there have a reputation for like a they like to party too much. And apparently there's a documentary. You can look it up on Google or any search engine where they release a documentary about the guard because a couple of them got caught doing illegal substances and taking pictures while they're doing it within the palace. So apparently a lot of them have that reputation of that party drug culture. Um, but that's also why they do a rotation too. They do like an 8 month rotation for a lot of the properties. So they're constantly rotating the guard members. Little historical thing. Um, and then the next day, I go out on a date um, with one of the chicks I got cold approached by. Cool date. She buys me beers. Then she asked me if I would ever stay in Denmark, like if I would live there. And to me, I was like, well, I want to explore more parts of the world first, but it is a possible. From the way I treat it, I wouldn't mind living there, if that makes sense. Even though it's a very expensive country to live in. Um, and then the 19th, that's when I fly to Munich.
Brother, that was a movie. That was an incredible stream. I don't think we're gonna have time for Munich. But
Yeah.
let's break down Copenhagen properly, bro. Whoa, brother, that was amazing. I got several questions here. Okay, so brother, now you can confirm that every race of woman in Denmark is checking for black men.
Um, I can't 100% confirm that all of them are, but a lot of them are. Um, because there's some like there was so many people, but also many tourists. But in terms of like the most of the cultures or ethnicities that reside in Denmark, yeah, they're checking. Like they're checking hard. And if you're American, that's bonus points. Black Americans especially.
Wow, brother. So now, did you? So probably you got love from white women, African women. What about Chinese, Japanese, Korean? Did you come across them at all? Did they show you love?
Um, so you remember I was talking about in San Diego where I kind of that the Koreans and the Chinese kind of mind their own.
Mm.
It's the same ordeal in Copenhagen because a lot of them are just tourists there, and then they kind of keep to their own. And a lot of a lot of the tourists there, um, they kind of get put off by the locals there because their complaint is the Danes are very reserved. But that's why I say my experience was unique because I was able to tap into um, to traditional social circles of the Danes, but also got had so many interactions where I really people there just within that week. But majority of the tourists there, like they'll hang out with other tourists if they do. So I didn't get any play from I didn't get any love from the Eastern Asian women. That's typical. There were a lot of Japanese people there, but it was like older Japanese families.
Awesome, awesome, bro. Um, Now, but let me ask this right. What about mixed race women? You mentioned that they're model looking, right? Half black, half white. Did they show you love? Did you see them with black men?
Um, so when I seen them, it was during the day, like while I was walking around exploring the city, because they're in a lot of different friend groups, and on average they're very tall, but I say they look like supermodels because these like those half black, half white Danish like kids, um, the guys and the girls, they look man, they're like literal supermodels. Like you look at a fashion magazine, they would be on there. That's that's how good looking they are. Now, I never got the chance to interact with them because during the day, it's hard. It's frowned upon to just cold approach people because people are reserved. They value their own space. Um, I don't recommend approaching people. Only approach if they give you very, very, very obvious signals in terms of um, like sexual interest wise or just social interest wise. But if they know you're like, I guess it helped that I'm American, so there's even random people that interacted with me throughout the day, and it caught other tourists surprised because they saw that I was getting approached. Like one day I was sitting at a bar during the daytime because I wanted to drink, and then a Danish family sat by me, and the father of the family, he owns a bakery outside of the city, and they were buying me drinks, and he was telling me everything about like how he started his business, and then he was asking me questions how like the economy is and like um what it takes to live in the U.S. Like genuine interest. It was very interesting, but um I think they are checking for brothers, but I don't know. I didn't get to interact with them, but I hope to interact with them when I go back again soon. I plan to go back in 2026.
Awesome. Brother, now I want to ask you about Norwegian women. Right, you mention them quite often. Um, Brother, so you would say that these Norwegian women are, without a doubt, checking super heavy for brothers, based on your experience. Like the love is incredible from what you got from them.
Yeah, yeah. The ones with black hair, the ones with blonde hair, and then the dirty blondes. Yeah, they're checking. Definitely checking.
That's crazy. Um, any other nationalities, brother, you dealt with out there in Denmark?
Um, so in total, I was approached by 30 different women. Um,
What?
yeah, exactly 30 within my time there from August 12th to the 19th. And the 19th, I barely went out. So I guess you could say 12th to the 18th. And by ranking, it's number one, Danish girls, and then number two, the Norwegian girls, and then number three, American girls. And then all the others, like the Ivory Coast girl was like that one. Um, and those were just the one that just like a cold approach. And then for me, I don't approach cold approach much. I prefer not to, only if they have genuine interest and I'm like very attracted to the person. But other than that, I didn't have to approach much. They approached me, but I could have got more interest because there's probably other girls that are like just too shy to. So I probably missed out on even more uh, encounters.
Wow. Wow. Incredible. Woo. Well, we see Swedish women as well. They were showing you love out there as well.
Yeah, I didn't interact with many Swedish girls, but there were some that were interested in me, but they
Incredible.
weren't they couldn't compete with. They weren't the ones that I encountered. They weren't the most attractive because the Danish and Norwegian girls, they're a lot more attractive.
Wow. So, brother, now, brother, so I know you're a light skinned brother. You did well in Denmark, so that means light skinned brothers will do where will do well in Denmark. Did you see dark skinned brothers with hot women in Denmark, brother? Acon complexion or a bit lighter.
Yeah. Um, I didn't see much like I didn't see a lot of couples throughout the day, but throughout the night, yeah, because they're definitely they'll interact with you, especially if you're an African brother. I've seen some French black brothers that do well too over there. Um, and those dudes, they meet those French black brothers. They immediately knew I was American from like they didn't even have to talk to me. They knew from a distance. because they would come up to me and they'll dap me up because they're happy to see me, And these guys are like they're looking sharp, they're looking good, like they're peaked out.
Incredible. Incredible. So, brother, let me ask you about feminism. So, Denmark is in Scandinavia. I know feminism has ravaged through Sweden. Okay. Did you sense feminism, strong feminist values amongst the women there, brother, and the men, feminism? Is that a problem out there?
Yeah, it's very prevalent because it's part of the culture. They're very egalitarian, and you'll notice it with some of the sculptures and the art that's suggestive because a lot of them will show the sign of strength, but you'll see statues that kind of show like the man and the woman beside each other, and they're kind of showing they got a lot of strong qualities. So they make it seem like it's 50-50 art wise. And then socially, yeah. And appearance wise, I've seen some Danish girls that I would never talk to ever because and those are like the hardcore feminists, like not shave at all and show it off and all that. And I'm like, nah, nah. And then there's some that are like very feminine, but they do subscribe to that. Like especially the girl at the Hive Club that approached me, the dirty blonde. She's like, uh, she's like supportive of feminism too. But that came up because politics came up, of course, multiple times because they asked me who I voted for, and I was like, "Well, I
Trump.
vote." Yeah, I told him straight up. I said I voted for Trump, and the ginger kid, he didn't want me to say that because he didn't want me to ruin my chances. But for me, I don't care. I'm not gonna lie about who I supported just to get a girl.
Mm.
But she was like shocked, but that didn't deter her interest um at all. Uh, so I guess maybe I got lucky. I don't know, but they're a lot more straightforward, direct, where you can talk to the Danes. You can talk to them about a lot of stuff, and they're very objective and rational about subjects. So even if they're pro-feminist, you can speak your mind with them.
Let's go. So, brother, now let me ask this, right? So, now within the club scene, right? Do you have to be a certain age to like get in these clubs? So, you mentioned a lot of young clubs. Let's say if you're 35, you're 30, 38, 31, 32, will you not be allowed into clubs where it's 18 to 25? I just want to break it down for me, brother. Or do you have to go to like open space clubs where all ages are allowed there?
Yeah, you can go in. They um they don't age discriminate too much. Yeah, you can go in. If there is age discrimination with clubs, it's against the younger people because Fridays, Saturdays, that's when like the older people go out. So day by day is an older demographic that goes out. Um, but Monday to Wednesday is kind of whatever goes and whatever bar is or club is popping that's open because because if you know where to go, you can literally party every day in Copenhagen. Literally,
Mm.
um, that's how it is. But the working culture there, you're you can only work 37 hours. You can't work beyond that. And there's people that also like they don't even work because they get money. They get paid to go to school. Because they have a huge safety net. So there's for a lot of people, there's not much incentive to pursue more. But you can tell if someone is of a high social status if they're actively working, especially if you have two jobs. If you have two occupations or if you work multiple jobs, then you're to the Danish perception, you're up there on their social ladder.
So, but let me ask this, right? So, do you feel like a lot of the young women there don't like older men? Let's say she's 21, 22, 23, which I'm guessing is the age range you dealt with out there. if your brother in your 30s, do you think they won't mess with you? Just want to know the mentality, brother.
Oh, they'll go for older guys. So I learned this from one of the Danish dudes I was hanging out with. That over now, don't be a weirdo. Shout out to the brothers. This is a warning. Don't be a weirdo. But the legal age
Whoa,
is
whoa, whoa,
15.
hold up. Hey, brother. All right, brother. Let's skip that. But in terms of like it's like the club stuff, brother. Right, this club stuff.
Okay, okay.
Um,
I'm talking
yeah.
about
So,
for billiards.
well, let's keep on club stuff. So, well, club stuff, right? Like, so, so for a woman who is 21, 22, 23, right? She'll go for a guy in his phase in the club or in general, from what you
Yeah,
heard or saw, or
yeah,
okay.
yeah. She'll go for him.
Can you, brother, how do you know that? Is that what you saw? Do you see like older men with younger women out there, brother?
Um, Usually younger women with older guys, from what I've seen, or uh, a younger girl with or a girl with another guy within the same age. That's from what I've observed. I'm 28, so the average age of the girls I interacted with were 22.
Let's go. Let's go. Brother, did they at any point ask for your age at all? Or whatever, the woman?
Yeah, the including the dudes, they asked me how old I was. I told them, and they were completely shocked because I keep it clean shave. My face is clean shaven, and I guess I appear young. So a lot of them thought I was like 20 years old or 21.
Perfect. And the woman still dealt with you with your age, even though she's 20, 20, 22. That's
Yep.
incredible. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's flipping go, bruv. Let's go. Oh, that's what I want to hear, man. We're not out here traveling for 50-year-old grannies. F that.
Yeah.
So, brother, let me ask this right. So now, brother, break down the physical makeup of Danish women, brother. Like, are they that gorgeous? I'm guessing they're very tall on average, like 5'10", 5'9". Do they have like, are they very curvy? Are they very skinny? What's the physical makeup, brother, of them?
So there, ooh, so there's some decent variation among, or decent variance among body types, because there's your like typical like Viking look, like some of the chicks look like actual Vikings, tall, very built, attractive, and then some that aren't attractive. And then there's like the short types, like the very short types, and then there's some that are just average height, but they have like that skinny look. Most of the girls there are fit and in shape, and they got some thickness to them because they got some legs, because they're actively biking. There's a big running culture there. Kickboxing is also popular, so being fit is a standard there. If you're overweight over there and you're a Dane, then we like their food quality is amazing. So there's if you're overweight and you're from there, then that suggests that you probably have some kind of mental issue going on. But
Damn.
a lot of women are fit. It's not like in America where a lot of women get weeded out because they're overweight. So you're competing for a minority. But in Denmark, you have a lot of variety, and you have girls from different countries visiting, and a lot of girls like going to Copenhagen. That's like their thing. It's a popular destination for younger women.
Okay, what, to party, to meet guys like you? Okay, this is great things. So I'm guessing is Copenhagen like a party hub for like Norwegian woman, Swedish woman, brother? I'm guessing.
uh, So I'm not too familiar with Swedish and Norwegian laws, but I do know in Sweden, like they're kind of strict on like the clubs and the bars and how late they can stay open. Um, I think that alcohol is a little cheaper in Denmark, but I don't know for a fact. I got to go to Sweden and Norway, or talk to someone that's been over there to know for sure. But it seems like a lot of women like to go to Copenhagen, like from Norway or Sweden, to buy some cheaper goods and to also have a fun time, like partying.
Awesome, incredible. But good point there on the overweight stuff. I don't want any overweight passport bros. Like, um, you have to you have to work out, man. You got to keep fit. You got to be in the gym, because if you're overweight, that will lessen your chance of getting women when you go abroad. Okay, you have to be in the gym. I work out. I eat, you have to eat healthy too. I'm not saying it's you can't have a chocolate bar once in a while, or Chick-fil-A or whatever, right? However, that can't be an everyday thing. You need to cook your own food, vegetables, lean meat. And I took a picture of my food yesterday. I might post it on my socials and on this channel and show you how IP eats. And I might even post a meal plan on my Patreon or recipes on there to show you brothers how I eat and how I cook my food and the recipes. It's not a game to me. I'm self improving every day. Every day is a self improvement. I'm in the gym. I eat healthy. I drink water. I eat fruits, bro. I eat my vegetables. It's very important as a man, as a passport, bro. Don't lose yourself in the West, man. Ain't that right, Josh?
Yes, sir. IP is 100% right. Um, and I'm only saying that because, like, I experienced exactly what he described in multiple streams and videos that he's provided to the public. So, uh, IP is the real deal. Like, I'm very fortunate, but also thankful for people like you that contribute um, to marginalized groups, but also disadvantaged people
Mm.
that they don't have the resources, they don't have the connections and the information available to find stuff out like this. Like what are the odds of meeting another brother that's been to Denmark or Latvia, for example, or Croatia? Like, you're not going to meet many unless they're in the military.
Mm. Facts, man. Facts. Bro, I do this for y'all, man. The channel, the content is for y'all. You know? How many streams have I done on different countries and every continent? It's for you, brothers, man. You have to take the information, go with it, and go and live your lives, man. That's why we push IT on this channel. We push remote work. We push freedom. I had a great time remote working in Tenerife, Spain. I got a lot of content I'm going to drop very soon. And I'll be traveling a lot more in the future for you, brothers, man, just to give you brothers intel, like freedom. I'm saying this travel ish, it's not a game to me. It's not a game. So going on from there, brother, right? What about the personalities of Danish women, brother? What does that mean? I want to know, brother. Um are they feminine in your opinion? Are they submissive, brother? Are they very girly on average? Break it down for me, cuz.
So they're very feminine. They'll be willing to clean and cook for you. Um, and then when you go out on dates, they'll buy you beer, like a cheap beer or coffees and all that, and they don't want too much. They value personal connection more. So you got to be pretty established within your mindset, because if they're constantly reading you into people, like especially the average person, so they're trying to get a gist on how you are, and they watch how you carry yourself. But if they see that you're somebody that's capable of an intellectual conversation and you're well spoken, then that's a plus. Like, you don't even have to be attractive, um but if you can keep up with that part, then you'll do well. But the attractiveness, that's gonna that's gonna help a lot more too. Make sure, if when you come to Denmark, you be on your A game. Like, don't just expect, I can just stand on the wall and I'll get people coming up to me. Don't don't go into that with that expectation. Is go in there and be your best self. Be prepared, and you don't have to learn Danish. You like most people speak good English over there, so just make sure you're clean, sharp. You dress nice. You dress your own way. They appreciate that a lot. They value individualism because they're freedom minded. They care about their own freedoms too.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. Now, brother, let me ask you about dating apps. Did you use that at all?
I used it a little bit, Tinder and Hinge. I don't rely on dating apps much because my algorithm is kind of screwed up on Tinder. Because on the thing it says like plus 99, and it's kind of hard for me to swipe on the chicks I want on Tinder. And in Hinge, I didn't get much uh, likes. But it made up for like the real life interactions because I got a lot of interactions and attention within the real world. But dating apps didn't work out for me that much. But it worked out a lot better for me in Munich, though. That's for sure.
And bro, that's got to be a separate stream. So Josh, right? Oh shoot, my parcel's here. All right, Josh, Josh, give me 3 minutes, 4 minutes. I need to pick up my parcel. But in the meantime, can you speak about where you stayed, the neighborhood you stayed in, the hotel you stayed in, the cost of it? Talk about cost of living as well. But yeah, where you stayed, brother. Was it good where you stayed? The hotel, the service you got, the food, and aside from that, the cost of living of Denmark, brother. Do that within 5 minutes. I need to pick up my parcel from downstairs, brother. Okay, how does that sound?
Okay, cool. I guess I start talking right now then.
Fire away, bro. I'll be back in a bit.
Okay. Well, I stayed at a hotel called Profil Hotel or Profile Hotel, Profil Hotel. It's right across from the Central Station, Copenhagen Central Station, and really close to Tivoli, which is like amusement park. It's a 4-star hotel, pretty pricey. On average, the booking's about 200 a night, but if you get lucky, you could get it for 140 to 150. It's like an old school, vintage hotel. So it's a lot of like classic old timer vibes. I like. I went with it because the location convenience and privacy. Because if I get lucky with some random girl, they don't want to go to a hostel. Like I want my like they're gonna want privacy. So that's why I went with that hotel. Now, the food and drinks, it's pretty pricey. If you want to save money, you want to do things by budget, a strict budget, I would recommend going to the grocery store, and you'll save a lot in costs. But keep in mind though, like you're paying a premium for real food, like food that's all based on locally sourced ingredients, and none of the chemical BS that American food products has. So keep that in mind. You're paying a premium for quality. So in a way, uh, it's kind of worth the cost. Um, that's why it's pretty expensive there. Um, but if there are a lot of like dive bars where you can get cheap beers. People are big on the Tuborgs or the Carlsbergs. So it can be costly. Now, VIP service at clubs, um, the average minimums is about $1,000. But depending on the how high end the club is, you could go to a club that's the minimum is like 2,000 or 3,000. But um, there's that. Uh, Public transportation, very convenient. I recommend taking the tram or the train very fast and efficient. Um, Cheap. You can get around, or you can take the bus. All I did was took the train, but I walked around the whole city because it's a very walkable city. You can pretty much get around walking everywhere. So make sure if you plan to walk around or explore Copenhagen, bring some running shoes or comfortable shoes at least. Um, what else? And tipping. You don't have to tip. There's no tipping culture. Most people pay by Apple Pay, or you can use your debit card. But that's how you also get singled out if you're a tourist too, because they'll know you're a tourist if you pull out your debit card or credit card. Because most of the locals there, they use Apple Pay. But you can take out cash from the ATM and use cash. Um, the people that I've seen that use cash tend to be from the older generations, but most of the people there um they use Apple Pay. That's the standard there. But keep in mind, food and drinks is expensive, but you're paying for real food. You're paying a premium, so in my mind, it's worth it. Um,
Brother, what was your budget for the whole trip?
man, so the total cost of my round trip plane ticket and then my hotel itinerary in Copenhagen was about $3,000. And then for food and drinks and public transportation, fun stuff that I did in Copenhagen, I spent about ooh, $1,800.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Oh
but
shoot. Come on.
I was splurging. Like I was eating multiple times a day, every day, and drinking and doing a bunch of fun stuff. So that's why you don't have to spend that much, but I kind of went too overboard because yeah. Uh,
Your vacation, man. You know, I don't blame you, bro. I had burgers every day. I had pizza in Tenerife. I had McDonald's, bro. Like, but one thing I don't know about you, right? But let me know if you agree or disagree, or if you do or not, right? When I go abroad, I always like to try the country's McDonald's because I noticed that it's different in every country. Like the McDonald's in Japan is very different from McDonald's in the UK and America, right? Same in South Korea when I went there as well. So I went to the McDonald's in Tenerife, Spain, and it was fire, bro. Like, did you do that as well, bro?
See that man, that pisses me off. How like so I didn't go to McDonald's, but I went to Burger King, and I was pissed off that the Burger King in Copenhagen like tastes a million times better than the Burger King in the U.S. I was mad because I'm like Burger King is supposed to be American, and they're feeding us like crap. And then I go to Copenhagen, and it like the fries are good, the burgers are good. Ugh. But I haven't tried the McDonald's there, but I tried the McDonald's in Japan, and I know what you mean.
Oh, oh, teriyaki burger. Oh, bro. My goodness, man. I miss Japan, brother. Um, I really do miss Japan. You speak Japanese?
A little bit. It's gotten worse over time because there's not many Japanese people in the U.S., and if there are, they're mainly in the L.A. and Seattle. Um, but it's when I talk to my mom, like if she speaks to me in Japanese, I just respond in English, or I just listen and nod. Especially when he gets mad. If she gets mad, then yeah, I'm just listening.
So I want to ask you, brother, right? In terms of what they're gonna say, um, brother, in terms of culture, right? What kind of culture is Denmark like? Is it a liberal culture? Is it a conservative culture? And depending on which one you choose, why is it that kind of culture from what you saw?
So they're reserved and it's liberal, but they are they're pretty much like a colonialist country because they own Greenland, they own the Faroe Islands. They used to control Norway. Now Norway is independent country. Um, but if you study the history, they've taken over Sweden multiple times. Uh, so they have that culturally and government wise. They've been always colonialists, similar to the Spaniards, similar to the French, similar to the Brits. Um, so they have that. There's like that little rivalry between Sweden and Denmark because the Danes see it as they're uh, jealous of them or they wish they could be like them. Kind of like how there's like a rivalry between people from Houston and Dallas, where um, a lot of people in Texas, especially in Houston, view Dallas as very uppity or snobby because a lot of companies are there, a lot of white collar jobs are there. But that's like the vibe. But they're very intellectual country. They emphasize on education and learning from different cultures because a lot of people there they like to eat different food. Like there's a popular American barbecue restaurant there called War Pigs. That's huge. They like dim sum. They like Vietnamese food. Um, so they're very they're reserved, but they're cultured, very cultured.
Amazing, incredible. So we're now at the time mark. This has been a great stream so far. Josh, appreciate you, bro. Um, Brothers, if you want to call in and ask any questions for Josh about Denmark that I've missed out or you feel is important, please, now's the time. We don't have much Denmark streams, so now's the time while the brother still got time. How much time you got left, brother, for this stream?
I have till let's see, 1:30. Yeah, 1:30. I gotta go for sure. So I'll
So what is that?
uh,
In 1 hour from now, half an hour from now, what is it?
it's 12:40 right now Central Time. So it's about 50 minutes.
Okay. Okay, brother. That's cool with me. All right, brothers. So now's the time. Okay, you want to call in? Now's the time. Don't miss out. Okay. So, but I want to ask you about racism.
Sure.
Um, in Copenhagen, did you experience it yourself? Did you see some sort of looks against you? Maybe institutional racism. Do you see black people doing like very menial jobs, not working high collar, white collar jobs? Break it down for me, bro.
So so me personally, unfortunately, I've had so if it's covert wise, it's probably from another American, as it
Hmm.
like how I described with those like sorority type girls from that pub that were cock blocking me. But out in the open wise, I had one experience, and it was interesting experience, but it wasn't even a Dane. It was a Ukrainian guy that's from Malmo, Sweden, and he was kind of belligerently drunk outside hanging out with a Swedish guy, and he's like kicking over bikes, kind of intoxicated, but he was yelling out loud, saying, doing the Roman salute and saying, "Mustache Man,"
Oh wow! What?
and I mean, I get it if he's trying to be edgy, but it's he was saying it like out loud where everybody could hear. This was the middle of the night too, where like 4 in the morning, and I was with the ginger Danish guy, and the Danish guy was like looking at him like, "What? Like WTH?" And then he starts talking about how he fled from Ukraine and moved to Sweden and all that. But he was kind of acting like a tough guy. It was like he's taking advantage of the people's kindness there. Then he starts saying the N word, in front of me, and I think he was saying it just to see if he can get a reaction out of me. Like he was saying n-word slotting, n-word slotting, and he was describing a story how like he got in a fight with some Ukrainian guy in Ukraine, and then he was basically bragging that uh that guy's not around anymore, and but he was describing a scene from American History X, and that's when I was like, I kind of called him out, and I'm like that sounds very familiar to American History X. I don't know if have you seen that movie, American History X?
I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that, bro. I've seen that.
Yeah, you know how like the scene with Edward Norton and that outside the house, the curb.
Yep, and he just smashes on the curb. Yep.
Yeah, he was talking about that. Then he goes, "Yeah, I do Thai boxing too." And then I'm like, me, I love fighting because San Diego, there's a big fighting culture. I grew up wrestling; that was my main sport. So that's when I mentioned I wrestled. But because of that, he kind of backed off a bit of saying all the crazy stuff because, like, if it got serious, then I know how to defend myself, you know. But I told the
Mm.
Danish guy, I was like, yeah, we got to walk away because this guy is like being too belligerent. Cops are gonna come by. He's throwing beer cans. It's bad. So that was the experience. It's unfortunate, but that's the experience. Now, in terms of discrimination of other people, I've noticed there's some negative sentiment on some of the African guys and the Arab guys. Probably more of the Arab guys, but it's more like the women, the Danish women that kind of frown upon them because they see them as too aggressive. And sometimes, like, they'll try to go in a bar or club and the bouncers won't let them in. But that's from what I've
Mm.
seen of racism.
Did any Danish people? Well, but in the clubs, right? When they play hip hop music, are they saying the N word? The people there?
No, I didn't hear of it.
Great. But now, what about the lives that BLS? Can you turn your camera on in the background so I know you're not a troll, please? Before I bring you on, turn it off after. But what about the lives of? Thank you, BLX. You confirmed. What about the lives of Black people living there in Denmark, bro? Like, are they living good lives from what you heard? Are they working good jobs, brother? Break it down for me, cuz.
Yeah, I was hanging out with one Danish Eritrean guy, and it was at one of the bars that I got taken to by a local, and I ran into him by accident because I was kind of standing next to him at a bar and it was packed, and he was it was obvious he was on defense mode, so he kind of like he was telling me like, hey buddy, you're a little too close and all that, and I was like, oh, I apologize, man, I didn't mean to be in your personal space. Then it took him a minute to process, but he realized from my accent that I was American, and then he started just chatting like chatting me up. He was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was being like that. I was like people like he was complaining about some of the people in the bar. Older dude. We were talking. We were talking about LA culture because he goes to LA because he's a Nipsey Hussle fan because Nipsey Hussle is Eritrean American. Really cool dude. And then he offered to walk me because I didn't know what area I was in. So he helped me because I didn't have service where I can go on the map. So he guided me. He offered to walk me to find my hotel. And then the central station's right there. So it was convenient for him. But he was a nurse. Um, like he works in the hospital as a nurse. So he's got a good job. And into the Danish eyes, he would be considered high class because of his occupation. So they're doing
Awesome.
well in Denmark.
Great to hear. Okay, good to hear. Let me bring in BLX in the background. What's going on, BLX? How you doing, bro?
What to do, guys? How's it going?
How you doing, sir?
Doing well, doing well. Yeah, I had a question or so for the guests. I saw that you mentioned a few clubs around Copenhagen. I saw that you mentioned the Hive, I believe it was, and the Chateau. Were there any other clubs that you went to or that you visited that you might recommend to everyone?
There was one club I was thinking about going to, and it was called Arch, but I didn't have the time to make it there because I was constantly being involved with different social circles and getting invited to different bars and pubs. Cause I only went to those two clubs, and the majority of the other places were like bars.
Got it. All right. Yeah, thanks for the info. I always like to if I'm ever out in that direction, I've retraced a lot of steps from other brothers of this channel, you know, other recommendations because it's always better to go into place with like at least something known rather than just going out randomly looking for places.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, that's why I want to provide as much information as I can because there's still not enough information for brothers in regards to the Scandinavian countries. Like I believe we could expose more about the three countries.
Totally agree.
Awesome. Any more questions for me, BLX?
Nope, that was pretty much it for me.
Okay, if you have any questions, just be in the background. Let me know, okay? All right. So I want to ask, brother, right? So in regards to American influence, you mentioned like a lot of people that want to be American. Do you mind touching upon that a bit more? Like, and do you see it as a bad thing, brother, or a good thing? Because we are running away from like the American influence, the American sphere of culture that has unfortunately pushed out feminism, turned women toxic. You've experienced that in Denmark, brother. So they like just break down how bad the influence of America is in that country.
Oh, yeah, it's really interesting because I was under assumption like the standard European fashion is like skinny jeans, like Zara looking jeans and like a tight shirt, but in Denmark everyone was wearing like baggy clothes like it was early 2000s. And I think a lot of it has to do with the American culture, cultural influence, because all they consume is American media. And I would say most of the people there, they really, really are into the Black American culture. But you have other people that are interested into different types of subcultures. Like you have some interested in the biker culture, like the one percenter culture in the U.S. Some are interested in the country lifestyle. Um, I've interacted with some that are really interested in the mafia culture. So there's variance among the individuals, but in general, they look up to America because they know it's chaotic, but they have a deep respect for individuals that can rise up um, within dysfunction, because to them they have a safety net. Like they can take risks, but they'll know they'll be fine. But it's a whole different story when you're taking a risk, but the risk, if you fail, it could totally screw your life over. So there's admiration for that. It's a double-edged sword because they know it's crazy in the US, but they admire individuals that can thrive from the dysfunction.
Mm, wow. I want to hop on there on that particular part. Everyone, I want everyone to be on Rumble. Okay, let's go on to Rumble because I want to crash on American culture for a bit, Josh, if you don't mind me.
I don't mind.
so,
I
bro,
talk too much.
so brothers, Let's go on to Rumble, okay? I just want to speak about race and dating. I want to talk about, culture, because yesterday I think Josh would be a great person to talk to about as well. The whole like Gen Z woman leaving black men behind, and how that's different abroad, and we can do a compare contrast. I got BLX here as well. I want to hear his thoughts here as well. You brothers can chime in as well. So I want everyone on Rumble right now. Okay, so Josh, do you want to take a break, brother? We have like what 35 minutes left or whatever. Do you want to get like a 5-minute break, 2-minute break, brother? Are you good?
Yeah, I gotta get some coffee and then I gotta grab my phone charger really fast.
Okay, fire away, brother. Let me know when you're back. Okay.
Okay.
All right, brothers. I want everyone on Rumble. We're gonna crash out on Rumble, okay? Because I got a lot to say about American culture. I got a lot to say about what's happening with Gen Z women abandoning black men, and now how it's different abroad. So I want everyone on Rumble, okay? I'm gonna give you our brothers until Josh gets back, okay? And again, making his nice latte coffee, right, with some cream on top, some cinnamon on top. I'm talking that's some high carry ish. But everyone, brothers, move over to Rumble, man. Okay, I'll give you a minute. BLX, how's your diet, brother? You eating well, brother? Do you meal prep, or are you eating a lot of junk, Chick-fil-A?
No, I typically cook most of my own food, but most of the stuff that I get, it's pretty locally sourced from like what's the word, farmers markets and stuff like that. But I'm in a unique position where like the city that I live in, which is Argentina, they're pretty high on very natural foods. So
Awesome. Do you like eat like mostly chicken or beef, and how do you season your meat? No diddy.
yeah, so that's another thing. They're usually not so great on seasoning, but I actually I brought my own seasoning from other countries. So yeah, with chicken, like I actually have some I think it's like Jamaican jerk seasoning that I cook with the chicken, and then if it's like a steak, actually usually a lot of the meats here, like if you get like a certain slice like beefy chorizo or beefy de lomo, uh, a lot of that meat is like so good it doesn't really need that much seasoning, just like a little bit of salt and it's perfect.
Awesome. Is that like pre-made Jamaican jerk chicken that you buy from the store? Is that your own Jamaican jerk sauce you make yourself?
I mean I get it from the store, but it just comes in like raw like chicken breast form, so you still have to like cut it into whatever you want it to be.
No, I mean the Jamaican jerk sauce. Is that
Oh,
like something that you already buy in a can that's pre-made, or you make it yourself from scratch?
oh yeah, I did buy that in a can, yes.
Okay, I want to make a Jamaican jerk in the future from scratch. The whole seasoning. So that should be interesting for me to try out. Can't wait. Brothers, cook your own food, brothers. Cook your own food. I'm telling you, it's a game changer. Once
Yeah,
in a while, I'll have. Go on, bro.
jerk chicken is awesome. And curry goat. I like curry goat too.
Indeed.
The beans and rice as well. That goes a bit. I could eat that all day, man. I really do like jerk chicken and rice and beans. Oh my, and the jerk sauce as well. They drip it all over. Oh, bruv. Lovely. A lot healthier than junk food. I'm not like I'm against junk food, but it can't be an everyday thing or a weekly thing, man. It's got to be once in a while, once every 2 weeks or once a month. Health is important, brothers, man. You get your health right when you're young, when you're old, no problems. No problems. We got to be in peak form when we go abroad. And I know Josh is going to be in peak form when he goes abroad again. BLX is already in peak form. I want to be in peak form when I go abroad. Because if you're a slim brother, right, clean cut brother, you dress well, it don't matter what age you are, they're going to be checking. This is the whole world isn't the West, fortunately, right? Self-improvement. All right, let's go. Okay, so I'm going to end the streams on all these platforms. You can find me on Rumble. We're going to crash on there about American culture, about Gen Z showing love to our brother in Denmark, but not showing love to us in the West. It's going to be a great crash out. So once again, here's a link. I'll see you guys. I see you brothers on Rumble. Okay, we can swear on there, but no N-word use, please. But you can swear. It is a free speech platform. But on this channel, we do not say the N-word. Okay. So I'm going to end the stream on Facebook. Facebook gang, I'll see you on Rumble. Yeah, you know where to find me. Twitch gang, I'll see you on Rumble. You know where to find me. Kit gang, shout out to Kit gang. I'll see y'all on Rumble too. Okay. And last but not least, YouTube gang. Okay. YouTube gang, I'm gonna see y'all on Rumble. There's over 40 people on YouTube. I'll see you on Rumble. Okay. So we are now.